Let's just take a slow, deep breath together and let the noise of the surface world completely fade away. As we gently descend into this explainer on the Dunning-Kruger Effect, we're going to explore the vast, quiet, underwater world of human psychology. We're diving down to examine a really fascinating cognitive trap, a place where our own minds can so easily lose their bearings in the deep, uncharted waters of knowledge. So let's dive right into this question, which brilliantly highlights a rather strange phenomenon in human nature. Think about those folks who are just splashing around at the sunny, warm surface of a brand new subject. They usually possess this blind, vibrant confidence, right? Because they can feel the sun on their backs, they swim the loudest, completely unaware of the dark, immense, and really complex depths that drop off just below them. To truly understand these waters, we have to look back to the year 1999. That's when psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger first mapped out this specific underwater cognitive view curve. And what they discovered was a harsh but profound truth. Incompetence often breeds a very powerful illusion of mastery. Those floating at the top of the curve are blindly confident, while the truly wise, the ones who have swum much deeper, are self-aware. They reside quietly at the bottom of the curve, humbled by the immense pressure of how much they still don't know. Now, the root of this illusion really lies in what we call metacognition, which is essentially our internal pressure gauge. It's the awareness of knowing what you know and, crucially, what you don't know. Often, we simply lack this metacognitive gauge, and that means we swim blindly without a compass. For example, a novice programmer who writes just a few lines of functional code might suddenly feel like programming is incredibly simple. They're entirely blind to a senior engineer's deep architectural currents, the complex considerations of code efficiency and maintainability that flow far beneath the surface. It's exactly the same when someone sketches a decent stick figure and suddenly feels they have immense talent, completely missing the precise control over color and composition that professional artists navigate every single day. And this perfectly illustrates how we get trapped in what's known as an information cocoon. We find ourselves swimming in this tiny, isolated tidal pool of local, fragmented knowledge, and we actually mistake it for the vast global ocean of truth. Just imagine someone who reads a few health articles online and firmly believes that eating mung beans can cure absolutely everything. They scoff at the professional advice of doctors, entirely unaware that their small tidal pool is just a single drop compared to the vast, complex, global ocean of modern medical science. Moving into part one, the drop-off, cognitive reefs in reality. As we leave those warm, comforting shallows behind and descend deeper into real-world applications, the environment changes. We start to encounter dangerous cognitive reefs, where this illusion of competence causes actual turbulence. In the workplace, we see these shallows all the time. We see it when someone learns a few basic Excel functions and suddenly dismisses the massive complexity of advanced data analysis, totally ignorant to the deep waters of statistics and machine learning. Or, consider a new employee who successfully wraps up one small project and immediately assumes that team management requires no deep coordination skills. They overlook the swirling currents of communication and resource allocation that are actually required to keep a team afloat. As we drift over into the digital world, social media amplifies this effect to the absolute extreme. Here, pseudo-experts rely on fragmented bits of information to attack doctors, judges, and teachers. Instead of calm, rational discussion, we see turbulent emotional outbursts and subjective assumptions. We can quietly observe how they thrash wildly in the water, remaining completely ignorant of their own absurdity, firmly believing in their own professionalism while calling actual experts liars. So, the crucial point in our own learning journeys is avoiding the false achievement of dropping anchor too early. When we first enter a new field, it's just so easy to grasp a few basic concepts, feel a sudden sense of mastery, and stop swimming. It's like memorizing a few vocabulary words and falsely thinking you can confidently navigate the deep, flowing currents of a fluent English conversation. We just stay anchored in our comfort zone, unable to break through our own cognitive boundaries. Historically, we can see exactly how this blind decision-making builds into catastrophic turbulence. We can impartially observe how Zhao Kuo, during the Warring States period, armed with mere paper knowledge of military theory, confidently commanded an army, which led directly to the disastrous depths of the Battle of Chongping. Similarly, during World War II, Hitler's gross overestimation of his military strength and his insistence on invading the Soviet Union rapidly accelerated the downfall of his regime. Arrogance born from ignorance is, very often, the beginning of a disaster. Which brings us to part two, the abyssal zone, escaping the cage. To survive these crushing pressures and escape this cognitive cage, we can't just swim harder, we must sink deeper. We have to actively reshape how we navigate the dark, mysterious waters of the unknown. Fortunately, there are 4 essential survival techniques for this deep dive. We need to seek objective sonar feedback, empty our buoyancy compensators of ego, swim far beyond surface concepts, and illuminate our path with diverse cross-disciplinary perspectives. Let's explore these gently, one by one. Our first step is to proactively seek objective feedback. We have to look in the mirror to see our true reflection in the water. This acts as our sonar, bouncing back to tell us exactly where we truly are. Think of a beginner pianist who feels quite accomplished playing in their living room, but then decides to play in a recital. By hearing the masters, they truly hear how far they still have to swim. When an exam tests our limits, that feedback breaks our illusion and shows us the reality of the depths. Our second step requires shedding the heavy weight of our own ego. We call this the empty cup mentality. You know, even Albert Einstein remained deeply humble by admitting he merely stood on the shoulders of giants. He recognized that his profound knowledge was still just one single drop in humanity's endless ocean. We must let go of pretending to know and instead maintain a quiet reverence for knowledge. The third step is to physically dive deep into the ocean of knowledge, replacing surface understanding with true, profound depth. When studying a field like economics or algorithms, don't just float on the concepts, dive into the underlying logic. Explore the why and the how, because the deeper you dive and the closer you get to the true ocean floor, the more you realize your own insignificance in the face of such beautiful complexity. The final step is cross-disciplinary learning. If we only ever swim in one single trench, we develop tunnel vision. But if a programmer takes a dive into the waters of psychology to understand human needs, or if a designer explores the physics of color and space, they scientifically illuminate the true complexity of the world around us. Exploring different currents prevents us from becoming arrogant in our own isolated, tiny domain. As we finally arrive at the serene, quiet bottom of our dive, we find this profound thought from the philosopher Socrates. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. Realizing your own ignorance isn't a weakness, it's the ultimate passport. It's the very beginning of clear-minded, continuous growth. And so, as we gently drift back up toward the surface, leaving the Dunning-Kruger trap safely behind us in the deep, I leave you with this final thought. Ponder this as you continue to explore the endless, beautiful depths of your own learning. Just how vast is your ocean of knowledge? Keep swimming and stay endlessly curious.
This is the brief on the HenRen Manual's 5 levels of mental models. Basically, this manual is your ultimate arsenal. 50 curated cognitive models designed to stop you from being exploited. You know, Charlie Munger said, relying on just one mental model is kind of like building a house with only a hammer. We need a full toolkit, right? Pouring the foundation at level 1 before building the roof at level 5. First, the foundation, chapters 1 through 20. Level 1, chapters 1 to 10, is cognitive awakening, reclaiming your brain using the dichotomy of control. Level 2, chapters 11 to 20, is mastering underlying laws, using first principles in Occam's razor to hit the core truth. So, how much of your daily anxiety is actually just a narrative fallacy forced onto you by your environment? Second, the arsenal, chapters 21 through 40. Shifting to dynamic action, Level 3 builds high-dimensional weapons in chapters 21 to 30, with decision trees and OODA loops. Level 4 is dominating value games, chapters 31 to 40, teaches negotiation via your BATNA and spotting manipulation. Now that sounds Machiavellian, but understanding dark triad traits is absolutely essential for your own self-defense. Finally, the Empire, chapters 41 to 50. Level 5 establishes the empire of the capable, leveraging personal wealth, monopoly thinking, the flywheel effect, and endgame thinking to turn accidental success into inevitable exponential growth. It's a 5-step, 50-chapter roadmap, going from clearing mental fog to building a self-sustaining, unbreakable personal empire. Subscribe to the channel for free now to get more videos for your self-improvement.